Hey, we're back. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for Boob Tube. And of course, it's not Boob Tube without my beautiful co hosts, Casey Carter and Desiree Desirable Bottom. Hey, ladies.
Hey,
How are you? It's been a few weeks since we've been here.
it's been a few weeks, yes, and
Casey,
yeah,
happy belated
Happy
birthday.
belated birthday. For everybody watching, let's give Casey a happy birthday.
Wait, okay, wait.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Casey Carter. Happy birthday to you.
Oh,
Yay!
that
Thank
was
you,
so
Desi.
great,
Thank you, thank you,
Desiree.
thank you.
Mine's happy birthday to ya.
Let's
Happy
go.
birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
You
mine
get
is
two versions. Look
yo
at that.
shorty, it's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your
It's
birthday.
your
Gonna sip and
birthday.
party
Yeah.
like it's your birthday. And I'm gonna leave it right there.
Okay. So tonight's episode is how many songs can we come up with birthday in it?
That part right
Let's
there.
Drop
do
your
it.
answers in the comments.
Comment.
Drop your answers in the
Mm-hmm.
comments.
That part right there.
Big booty hoes, hump with it. Oh no, that's not it. There's
Um,
one that's like
Boom, boom,
something
boom.
about the big booties. What's up, Zany? Hello, Jason. Jason, long time no see.
yeah, I got it all up
Charles
there. Put
White.
it all up there. Mm,
Okay. Welcome, everybody. So, I think that is a great sentiment for how our weeks are going. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Listen, can I
Yeah.
just say this?
Oh,
I
go
have
ahead.
been up since about 3:45 this morning. I flew back from Puerto Rico yesterday. I got in yesterday, late yesterday afternoon. Whew. And fortunately, I have Juneteenth off. So guess who's going to be comatose? And you know what? Let me be honest. I'm not even planning on being comatose. I got to check the weather because if the sun is out, I'm going to be at the pool. I'm just going to sleep in and then I'm going to the pool. And then I got to come home and do work because I was gone. So, and I'll be gone next week. So I got to get ahead. I got to get caught up and then I got to get ahead because I'll be gone for Exotica Miami.
Me
Whoop,
too.
whoop.
I got 2 round trip tickets for $300 on Southwest.
Okay.
So me and my guy are going to Miami, Miami, Miami. Yay! We'll be at
So
Exotica.
I'm
So
Miami.
welcome to Miami. So Desiree, you were about to say something. What were you about to say?
Oh, I had to do a special mention to Jason. So I was doing a collab on YouTube with my other streaming friends, and Jason decided to make a special appearance. So that was a huge W. It was a huge surprise. I loved it,
Oh,
Jason. It
yay!
was great
He
seeing
shows up
you.
to a lot of the when I was doing the stuff on iHeart BBW, he was showing up there too. So
Jason gets
Mm-hmm.
around.
Jason is a
Jas-
huge supporter. Zany has
Jason
showed up
is.
Facts.
too.
Yeah, let me say this. Zany is like our regular. Um, I'm missing some of our other regulars, but if I could, I would give Jason the super fan award just based off of what you ladies just said about the fact that he shows up on all our stuff, not just our boob tube, whatever. He shows up everywhere.
Yes.
And some of you may pop in here and there to some of the other things, but Jason genuinely shows up to everything that the three of us do. So big shout out
Yeah.
to
Bless.
Jason. We love all of
Yep.
you. Absolutely love all of you because as you know, we shout you all out whether you're here all the time or whether it's your first
Or
time
not.
visiting. We give
Like
everybody
Right.
Axel.
we give
Yep.
everybody love.
And
Everybody gets
Alex.
love. Yep. So we listen, the three of us could sit here and talk to each other all night without y'all, but y'all make it even more fun. So Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We wouldn't be here without you. They'd have shut us down a long time ago.
Oh,
Jay would have been
trust
like,
Five
ma'am,
years.
trust
5
unplug.
years later.
yeah, trust you
Just
me.
saying.
5
Because if you
years later.
if to this
Yep.
point about the 5 years later, if you were with us when we first started BoobTube, there was a bunch of programming on Exotica TV, live programming, new programming, because we could not meet in person. So Exotica used this platform to keep
Platform.
to keep followers and fans engaged. We are the only thing that has survived that moment in time. So big shout out to us.
Let's use one of
Yes.
our handy dandy audios.
Yeah,
Round of applause.
I was listen. I thought I had it programmed on this, but apparently I did not. Have it. Hold on.
Okay, well, Desiree will just fill in.
There we go.
Good job, Desiree. Good job.
There we go. Woo!
Yeah,
Yes.
we definitely are super appreciative. Especially lately, I think that we made that 5-year mark, and it's like really surreal for us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we've mentioned it quite a bit, but without further ado, without further ado, we would love. Oh man, I tried to reset my Apple password, and now it's telling me it's reactivating my devices. Like it's crazy. But let's talk about what we've been watching on the television and streaming networks on the Boob tube.
Casey. God damn it, that's me. Go first, Kari.
Are you talking to yourself in third person now?
I didn't mean that. I really didn't.
Kari would like to say she's been watching Animal Kingdom.
Casey.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about it, if you're gonna talk about yourself in third person, I'll do it too. We'll just make it a thing. You know, Kari would like to add. So Kari was watching Animal Kingdom.
Tell us what Kari
So yeah, I haven't had much time to watch TV. For those of you that have watched my Instagram stories, then you know that I just came back from Oklahoma, the land of nothing. Tornado Alley. However,
yes.
Casey did spot something that I was able to experience that was very, very exciting for me.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. It was super cool because my mom's not really like a touristy kind of person, so we had to like convince her that taking 5 minutes and a little bit off the beaten path to go see this. But if you go check my Instagram stories, it's the Queen of BBW. You'll see that actually the story's probably down. It's now a post. The lamp with the leg and the fishnets and the lampshade, there's a huge 60-foot one in Chickasha, Oklahoma. And I had the honor of getting to see it and take photos with it. And so if you've seen A Christmas Story, then you know that this is the lamp that was in A Christmas Story. And I thought it was super cool. It was very exciting for me.
Does it tell you how tall it is? Because that was the thing I couldn't quite get the scale right.
I looked it up. It doesn't tell you at the actual statue. It's just a huge statue. I didn't see anything that gave any further detail, but when we looked it up online to see where exactly it was, because there was something that said, there was like something that told us that we were close, like a sign that, get off here for this. And so we looked it up to see just how far it was, and it really wasn't. It was like maybe a couple miles, maybe not even that far off the highway. So we were like, that's not bad.
Right.
And when we looked it up, it gave information. It said 60-foot tall. Matter of fact,
I was gonna say literally, Kari, just as you said 60-foot tall, we've got To Come Kari said, I didn't know there was a 60-foot tall leg lamp statue. Yeah.
Yeah. To Come Kari. Okay.
To come carry.
That's great. That's great. Leg lamp in Chickasha. It says, oh, there's tours. Apparently, oh, there's a scavenger hunt. Oh, it lights up at night. Damn it.
You
Fudge.
missed all the good stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, man. Oh, it's 40 feet, not 60. It says here they reopened as a permanent attraction on November 5th, 2022. It stands on a 10-foot box. Okay, so it's 50 feet with the 10-foot box.
Okay.
It's 40 feet tall and stands on a 10-foot box, and it's modeled after the infamous prop that appeared in A Christmas Story. Towering over Chickasha's historic downtown, the leg lamp is a must-see stop for fans of the classic movie or of wacky roadside attractions in general. It's open to the public and it's lit up at night. We didn't see the light up at night, although it wouldn't have made a difference because we still would have had to bounce. But
So Charles White says, "Guess you're going back there."
I say we have a boob tube road trip,
To Chickasha,
Chickasha,
what did you
Oklahoma.
say? Listen,
Cross
you,
country.
you and I were talking about where that was located, and you mentioned Fort Sill. I've been to Fort Sill because my daughter went to basic training there. I ain't going back there.
Jay
Hey,
Handy.
Jay Handy.
Oh,
Hi.
Schnuck. What's up? He likes turtles.
Thank
What's that
you.
got to do with what we're talking about?
Thank you for the random comment.
Right? Random. Just, I like turtles.
Random.
Jay
Totally.
Handy likes turtles. We're talking in third person today, sir.
Yes. Jay Handy likes turtles.
Jay Handy.
Anywho, that being said, Jay Handy, Jason, I'm hoping you're seeing that Jay commented on the
Your
show.
best friend is in the comments. Say hi,
Just
Jason.
saying. Okay, and
Turtles
further
are
further
awesome.
random comments from Jay Handy. Turtles are
What
awesome.
about
Well,
Ninja Turtles? What's your favorite Ninja Turtle, Jay Handy?
So okay, so
I had to
in Puerto
ask.
Rico for the weekend for my birthday, and they have a tree frog called a coqui, which is like a big thing. And so seeing Jay post about the turtles keeps reminding me of this little tree frog. Um, thank you for just randomly liking the turtles. Like I just randomly mentioned the coqui and the tree frog.
and the chickens. Okay, so in Puerto Rico, iguanas are considered like I forget what they call them, like a tree chicken. I forget what they call them. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because now I'm kind of
Here's the answer to your
curious.
question, Des. Michelangelo, of course. Thank
Because
you.
he loves the pizza.
Listen, I love a good pizza too. As a New Yorker,
Rex.
I need a New York slice, okay? Don't the Pizza Hut, it's good when you're hungry, but like when you really want pizza, you need a New York slice. That's all I'm saying.
You know
Yeah.
what that
Okay.
reminds me of? That's like a Philly cheesesteak. Like you got to go to Philly and get a Philly
To get a
cheesesteak for
really
sure.
good cheesesteak. Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
when you come to Baltimore, you got to get seafood, crab cakes,
Crab cake.
Mm.
crab cakes.
Mm.
So
And I
the
go to
iguanas.
Timbuktu all the time for the carrot cakes. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in there. When I'm
Oh,
there, Timbuktu. Awesome crab cakes.
so
Anyway,
the iguanas in Puerto Rico are called chicken of the trees.
chicken of the trees.
Yes.
There.
Love
They're
it.
called
So which iguanas are we
Galina
talking?
de
Like,
Palo.
are we talking about the big, or are we talking about the little
No, we're talking
black
about the
belly
big ones,
geckos,
the
the big
spiky
ones?
looking ones.
Okay. Like the ones
Yeah.
that be at the pool in Miami at
Yes,
Exotica.
in Miami that we'll see next week. Yeah.
Hello.
So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm gonna start calling them different forms of like chicken, pollo, el pollo loco. That I'm gonna name them now, all after chicken. Now
So
that I know that's what they call them.
my favorite pizza topping is pepperoni, but when I'm having to eat franchise pizza, like Pizza Hut,
Mm-hmm.
Domino's or whatever, my favorite actual pizza is veggie. Pizza Hut's flat
Ooh.
flat bread, or not flat bread, but they do a thin crust. Excuse me, thin crust
Yes.
veggie pizza. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Somebody's in the comments having a good time. Two Come Carrie says, love crab cakes, not cakes with crabs though.
And
Facts.
to come, if you really love crab cakes, as Carrie said, go to Baltimore. There are a couple of places that I go when I'm in town to get crab cakes. One of them is a
Where do
place
you
called
go?
Timbuktu. I go to Timbuktu, and then I go to
Oh, I
um
thought you were saying you really went to
no, no. The restaurant's called Timbuktu. They make a lobster tail that they smother in the
Mm.
chunky crab meat. The other
Mm.
one is, oh my God, Lorenzo's gonna kill me for getting the name of the other one. A&M, J&M, R&M, something like that.
G&M.
G&M. Thank you.
G&M.
That's the other one that I go to when I'm in town.
Okay.
Awesome. When you go to one of those two places, and they're both near the airport, so you can literally fly in, go get something from one of those two, and fly back the fuck out. G&M actually will mail you crab cakes. Um, no lie. Like literally, I was gonna do that for my son for Christmas one time. But here's what I'm saying: the crab cakes are so freaking awesome that when you have crab cakes at one of those two places, or anywhere basically in the Baltimore area, and then you go have crab cakes where you live, not in the Baltimore area, you will be
Right.
like,
Not
take
the
this
same.
bullshit back. That's not a crab cake.
It
Okay.
it doesn't hit
Casey.
the same.
Okay.
I
I
love
was
that.
I was copying the stuff that Jay was writing because he's doing these little like people in the chat.
Emojis.
Yes.
Whitney said stop spam. Jay said
I love
spam
that.
pizza. He said spam pizza.
To come carry, it's not near Edison.
We're about
This
2 hours away from Edison.
No. And again, if you fly into BWI, you're practically around the corner. Like G&M is down the street from
From the
the
airport.
airport, and Timbuktu is a few exits down the highway. And I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed, especially at Timbuktu with the crab stuffed lobster tail.
Anyways, can we stop talking about food because I'm hungry?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You
And I'm about to-
started. You
I
started.
did. I so did. What's up, Christopher Gagliardi? I love that. So, anyways, I started watching Animal Kingdom, which
Wait,
for those
wait,
of you
hold
that
on.
don't know,
Wait, no, sorry, hold on. Good evening to the hottest ladies on YouTube, Platinum Pussy One and Casey at Night. Thank you for finally getting that right. But I just want to acknowledge the scrumdiddly-ishes.
scrumdiddlyumptious.
That too.
Have you ever been to Fort McHenry? I have very awesome sight.
Okay,
What's in Fort McHenry? Do tell.
sorry. And I didn't mean to just totally derail where you were going, but I saw that
It's been
and was like,
happening
I
all
just want
night.
to
It's all
acknowledge
good.
the scrumdiddly-ishes. I, I say
I took us
scrumdiddly.
on a detour to the leg lamp, and now we're just on Detour
We're on
City and
detour.
talking in third person. Don't
Forget,
forget that
right.
we're talking to
Okay. So that's like
Carrie.
Jeopardy. That's like Jeopardy. You got to talk in third person when you talk about whatever it is you're going to say you watched. Go ahead, Carrie. What did Carrie watch?
Well, Carrie
Damn.
watched Animal Kingdom
I
again.
can't do it. I can't do it. I can't.
For the 18th time, Animal Kingdom on Netflix.
And are you digging it? And how far have you gotten?
I'm on episode 3 and I'm loving it. It starts off with the kid's mom ODing in front of him on the sofa, and he's just like, "Oh, let me call the EMTs." And they pronounce her dead, and then he calls his grandmother, who they call Smurf, who is Ellen Birkin, And he gets over there and the shenanigans start instantly. And apparently, uh, they run. So she has 3 boys, which they say they don't live there, but they're always there. So that's unique. And then there's a 4th brother who very quickly gets out of prison and just shows up like, "Hello." And they run a crime ring. And yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of twists and turns, and it's only episode 3. So, and then I found out there's 6 seasons. So I'm like, "Oh, I got a lot to watch."
So
So,
think I think it originally came on TNT,
mhm.
and I watched it when it was on sorry. I watched it when it was on TNT. It it really was awesome. It was really very good. It's one of those shows that it's just constantly the storyline. Like, okay, so we were talking about it briefly before we went live, and I said to Carrie, this show lets you see you can't always trust family. These people stab each other in the back at the drop
Mm.
of a dime. And but the one thing that is true and certain, amongst each other, there is no honor amongst thieves. But let somebody from the outside try to do some shit. And these folks close ranks so tight that you can't even see daylight between them. So, you know, but
I think
it's
that's pretty common though,
yes, I would
because
agree. It is.
that's how it is with my family. Like me and my sister used to fight like cats and dogs. In fact, we just started getting along a few years ago. Literally. Like
And
we just it
how
was
much older are
awful.
you? How much older are you?
I'm 2 years older, so we're
Okay,
pretty
so
close.
you're technically close. Yeah.
Yeah, we're close in age, and so, um and we're very different. My sister's always been, like, kinda needy and a follower and, got into a lot of trouble, and I'm very independent, and I'm very unapologetically me, and she's kind of like she'll be whoever she's around, and so I just, you know, I
Just
always thought, like, "Ugh,
reality.
you're like everybody." Like, you're just like, "Be yourself," right?
Right.
So we fought, we fought, we fought. We just started getting along a couple years ago. But even as kids, if anybody tried to fight my sister, they had to go through me. And by that time, they're like, "No, I'm good. We'll just." She seems like she's comfortable going to jail, which I am. When it comes to situations of the people that I care about, like, and that's what my mom was like. She's like, "You girls never got along, but let somebody come for one or the other." And she was like, I knew Carrie could take care of herself, but your sister, there were times and she was like, but if you were there, I knew she was good." So, yeah.
And
And that's
it's
how it seems with the animal kingdom is like
right.
anybody from the outside, they're knit
Tight knit.
tight,
Mm-hmm.
but internally there's a lot of like there's the one guy that got caught getting his um dingaling sucked at the beach and is trying to deny his sexuality.
That part right
Then
there.
there's the other one that, now mind you, I'm just on episode 3, so I don't know where this goes, but then the other one got shot and he's now hooked on pills. And then the other one is married with a daughter. And so, yeah, but there's this dynamic of like who wants to be top rank, and it changes with the mom based off of the particular situation.
Yes.
So, and then she makes a comment, "Do not be sorry for being yourself. Be absolutely proud."
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Facts.
trust me. I am. I am very proud of me and all my chaotic mess, okay? But anyways, back to the Animal Kingdom family dynamic. She puts in charge, depending on the situation, different
Right. Different
brothers.
brothers. Right.
And this is what causes the friction because each of them think that they're the top guy And
She
in
is
the end,
I was gonna say
yeah,
she's a straight puppet master.
is
To your
she?
point, whoever like each each boy, each man has a skill set. And to your point, Carrie, depending upon the situation, she will elevate someone to handle whatever the situation is. And yes, each time she does that, somebody feels like, ha ha ha, she loves me more until Ellen
Until,
Ellen
yeah,
Barkin is absolutely ruthless.
yeah,
Absolutely ruthless in this show. She comes across, she likes to come across mild mannered, but yo, mm-mm. She reminds you women can be outright vicious. We don't have to have a weapon in our hand to slice and dice your ass. And that Ellen Barkin.
True.
yeah. And it's all for greed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Her biggest motivation is greed, and it's like, I left off at the part where they were supposed to get rid of the watches because
Ah, yeah.
they botched the robbery
Right, right.
and killed a cop. So she's like, "We have to get rid of the watches," and then she makes them think that the watches got melted. And then the next scene, you see her putting them in her safe in her,
Mm-hmm.
hidden storage unit
Right.
that they don't know
Don't
about.
know
And
about.
there's like mad safes in there. They don't really show you what all's in there yet, but you can
It's
see
clear she
that
got stuff.
clearly she's not being forthcoming about what's happening with these items. So she got them to steal them, and then she keeps them. So yeah, she's already, you can tell that she's very conniving and manipulative. And I mean, in this particular instance, rightfully so, because they did make a huge mistake, because she's all
Mm-hmm.
about no one gets hurt, blah blah blah. So yeah, but at the same time, it's also one of those things that's like, why are you telling them that we're getting rid of these things when in fact you're
You're
actually
just
keeping
stashing.
them?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So
And and so everything that you see throughout these seasons, it is that. It is her manipulating the boys, puppet mastering everything that happens. It is a really, 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 really good show. Really, really good show.
yeah, I'm excited to be watching it. Mobland is over. Well, the season's done. Raising Canaan season's done. So the stuff that I was
Hmm.
watching, and
It's
I
over.
don't know if you guys are experiencing this, but like I've been flipping through the streaming channels and I'm just not seeing anything that really
Catches you, right?
Patches.
strikes my
Hmm.
interest. And
Hmm.
I don't know if we're just in the mid seasons of streaming, like, or summers usually like this. I mean, maybe this is something we should document. When does TV spark back up again? Because I feel like we go through this a couple of times a year where it's like, "Bleh,
And
there's really
and
not
so
shit to watch."
here's what's interesting about what you just said. When we were all watching network TV, there was always a lull in programming. And then they
Right.
started making seasons shorter because they were bringing in programming. Like the summer tended to be where there was nothing good to watch. And then they made
Right.
seasons shorter and they started bringing in summer programming. And then when the fall came, you went back to the old school, the reliable whatever. So when we moved to streaming, initially it didn't seem like there was ever a bad time because there was always something on. But I would agree, Carrie, I feel like in the last few years you we do have periods where there's nothing really good to watch. Nothing really good to watch. So, having said that, um, I've it's the month of June. It's my birthday, middle of the month. I pretty
Boop,
much have
boop.
Thank you very much. I pretty much have spent this month celebrating my birthday. So I haven't when I'm home, I watch nonsense things I don't have to remember, and it's not good because I'm on a show called BoobTube. But I'm also I'm
Okay.
also I'm sleeping so I can go hang out and celebrate my birthday again. But having said that, I actually go through these moments where I like to watch documentaries. And so there's a couple of documentaries that I have slept through. Full transparency. Slept through. Yeah. At some point, I'm going to go back and watch them while I'm awake. But, but, one of the ones I slept through was was a show about the Ocean Gate, which is the man-made submersible that went down to try to find the Titanic or look at the Titanic and ultimately imploded. So before I fell asleep completely, um, what was interesting is the people who were affiliated with it, whether uh, while they were doing this dive or prior to doing the dive, they all said the same thing. This shit was inevitable. The implosion, the death of these people, it was inevitable that whatever they had done to get ready to build this submersible, to do the dive and all of that, they should have never, ever actually done it because, and I think one of the people said, mathematically speaking, it was known this was going to happen. But the man who spearheaded the project, his ego, his hubris was so intense that he was determined to go down to the Titanic no matter what. Because they were talking about there were things supposedly on this submersible that didn't even work. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That should be a new segment for BoobTube. The things that watched us instead of the things that we watched.
Ooh, girl, I got a
Because I
list.
pretty much have a long list of
I
things
got a
that watch
long
me
list. I
too.
got a long list. But I say all that to say I watched enough of it to get the gist of it. And like I said, the hubris of this person, this gentleman, I don't even remember his name. It was kind of crazy. Because this is, I don't know, let me just say this. And if I offend anyone, I'm going to tell you up front, I apologize if you're offended by what I'm about to say. But the audacity of this white man who seemed to have unlimited resources and his ego was willing to put people at risk in order to go down in the history books, out fucking outrageous. I think it was just absolutely despicable, and I'm sorry that the submersible imploded because I would have loved for him to have been charged with some sort of crime for what he did in putting these people at risk. Because, like I said, mathematically speaking, if you know anything, math doesn't lie. The math is absolute. So when they said mathematically it was inevitable that this journey down to the Titanic was going to fail, that says a lot. Absolutely says a lot. So check it out. It's on Netflix. I forget exactly what it's called, but you can't miss it. It's in their top 10. So check it out.
Okay.
Leslie, what you got?
You know, I gotta talk about the last season of Handmaid's Tale, because I told these guys I was gonna watch it.
Is it?
And I did.
Is it the last?
And I did. It's the last.
Like
yeah,
last,
season
as
6. Season
no
6
more?
is the last season. Yeah, no more.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so what you got?
Okay, so what happened, how it started was June and Serena escaped a refugee train together in Alaska or to Alaska. June ended up like reuniting with her mom, who, like, I don't know what happened. I guess they fell, like, people drift apart or whatever. Anyways, she's seen her mom. She's got a baby with Nick, who is like when she was in The Handmaids at the Waterfords. So she had a baby with him. Right. This is like she rekindled with her husband now, like, because the husband, it's kind of complicated. So the husband was trying to get her out of Gilead, and the daughter's there too. Like, their daughter from like a previous, well, it's not a previous marriage, it's like their marriage, okay?
Right.
And then when she was in Gilead, she ended up having to get pregnant by the driver, Nick. And then they ended up, because Serena couldn't produce kids. So the commander's wife, where she was staying or where she was posted at, she couldn't produce kids. So that's what the handmaids were for.
Right.
To produce the children, right? So anyways, so it ended up happening where the husband was like, couldn't have the kids. He was like, he was shooting blanks. I'll just say that. Okay? Okay? He was shooting blanks, chat. So, Serena, pew pew, yeah, Serena came up with her best idea and said, why don't you consummate with the driver and then have the baby, and then we'll go from there, blah, blah, blah. So it ended up happening. She ended up getting pregnant with the driver. They had the baby, and then now it's like the husband who's out in the real world. So they're in Canada, which I find is really funny. Like, and I think that's why I like the show. So they were portraying Gilead was kind of like the United States, or a version of like the United States. And then they were like refugees in Canada.
Right.
So it's crazy. Anyway, so I'm just going to like do the little summary thing. So it ends up where Commander Lawrence, who was like another big commander, he unveiled New Bethlehem, which is a softened version of Gilead.
In Canada.
And then and Serena, who is like, they wanted to be like the public figure and make it, because women couldn't have the same rights in Gilead. It was always the men ruling everything. It was like when the guy was like, like, you shut up and sit down, the women had to listen. Right. But not in this New Bethlehem. Yeah, like it was very, very, very strict. Like very, and I mean, like, she got her finger cut off. Like Serena, her own husband, because she talked up and said, we want our children to like teach our children properly. And then they all agree, like all the husbands, they were all like that, like, we can't have that. If one woman stands up, like all the other wives and women are going to stand up too, right? And then it's going to cause a big discrepancy or whatever. So anyways, he ended up like chopping off her baby finger with a cigar thing. Yeah, it was like really bad. Yeah, cigar
cutter.
Yeah. So it was really bad. Anyways, I'll keep going here. So Nick grapples with June. Like he was always drawn to her. Like he always wanted to get away from Gilead and stuff. And she was just like, like, let's go away together. But it's like a fantasy land, right? It's not going to happen because she was previously married and she loves her husband. But she's got a kid with this guy because of what Serena, like what her situation was. And then, so he was just like, let's go to Paris. And, we got tickets and I'll get us passports and we'll make fake names and, whisk you away and some, And then she's like, well, like she was a realist, she's like, well, I kind of can't do that. I have a daughter. I want to get out. Like, she's in Gilead and I want to rescue her. And then, like all the ladies that she met, like all the other handmaids that she met along the way, you learn to grow and have a bond with those women. And, you want to get them out of that situation too. Right. So it was crazy. Anyways, so the last part was, so Serena's husband Fred ended up dying. He like, I'm not going to go into the whole details, but she ends up marrying a new commander.
Okay.
Then so this all happens in like Boston apparently.
Boston.
So Serena ends up like giving June the information that she needs to end up like, so where they have their squad like going to bomb like her, it would be like June's husband. They had like a, not a terrorist group, I'm gonna say, because that's not a good term to use, but it's like some sort of like a community, but they're like ready to fight back, like
Okay.
not refugees, but you guys know what I mean.
Rebellion. They're
Yeah.
like
Anyways,
rebellion.
yes, thank you. So yeah, so they're there fighting back, and then they end up like Commander Lawrence was with, like, brought the bomb on the plane and stuff, and then like they were going to Boston, and then they blew up the plane, and then it's like, yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
So I'm not gonna watch it. The last season 6 of The Handmaid's Tale
So I actually watched some of
on
the
Hulu.
I watched some of the episodes. I'll have to consciously watch them. When I watched them, it was one of those things. First of all, I didn't even realize it was the last season, but it was one of those moments where I
Yeah.
was doing something else and I turned it on. Because I've watched Handmaid's Tale off and on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have to sit and watch all of that last season now, because the episodes I did watch, I was like, the fuck is going on? What are we doing? This is, because I'm, now that I'm listening to you give that summary, I'm like, oh, okay, got it. So now, like I said, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go
Conscious.
back
Yeah.
and watch it now that I can kind of understand what's going on. So, okay, go. Kari, back to you.
I don't have nothing else because I was in Okefenokee with no
Okay,
internet.
I have a
Go
question
ahead.
for you. What are
Yeah.
you looking forward to seeing? Is there anything
Ooh,
else that
ooh.
you want to
Can I
see?
That's a
answer?
great question. First of all, I'd like to say hello, Alex Miles.
Where you
There
been?
we go.
We are
Ah,
so
Where you been?
happy that
Where
you're here.
you
Shout out to
yes.
you.
been?
What am I looking
Oh,
forward to
gee.
seeing? Well, Sinners is still on my list. I would still like
Okay.
to see Sinners. And I'm going to be real honest. You caught me off guard with that question. I'm not really sure. I would like House of Dragons to return.
Ooh.
Can I throw something out there at you, Kari?
Sure.
Have you seen one of them days with Kiki Palmer and SZA?
Yes. Yes. That is so cute.
So they're doing a sequel. I describe it as being the female version of Friday.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
but here's what I found interesting. I didn't know it was in theaters. I read an article
Ooh.
about it. Yeah, I read an article about it, and the article basically talked about the fact that most successful movies that come out now are franchised. They
Okay.
are from they're the continuation of another storyline. And one of them days apparently was the first
Excuse me.
successful movie of 2025 that was not a part of a franchise. Sinners was another one of those movies. So like they talked about how Sinners has like one of the highest ratings on multiple ratings platforms. Well, apparently,
Mm-hmm.
so does one of them days.
Ooh.
And it, like, again, it came out in January in theaters, and they said based on its Netflix success and the success for when it first came out, that they got this sequel deal. Now, here's what's crazy. The money that it made, which I think is like, I don't know, 50 million, $60 million technically, and that's at that time with when it came out in the theaters. That doesn't necessarily sound like a lot of money, but they said in light of the fact that it's not a part of a franchise and that it's an original story. So think about this. An original story that made 50-60 million dollars or whatever that number was from the theater, from the box office, that's a success because everything else that makes money is a part of a franchise. That says a lot. And the article goes on to say that they're hoping that with the success of movies like One of Them Days and Sinners and a couple of other movies that they mentioned that were original stories, that Hollywood will take a risk and invest in other original stories. Um, I thought that was interesting because I'm not gonna lie, I am an absolute Marvel geek. No lie, absolutely love a Marvel movie, good, bad, or
Mm-hmm.
otherwise. I love a Marvel. I love Transformer, and Transformer has put out a
Oh,
few.
me too, me too, me too.
They've put out a
Yep.
few that I thought were trash. Let me just say it. I love
Mm-hmm.
Mark Wahlberg,
Mm-hmm.
but there were a couple of Mark Wahlberg Transformers that I'm like, y'all could have saved it. Y'all could have just sent Shia LaBeouf to rehab and, propped him up and CGI'd his mouth or whatever. I don't know. But I loved reading about the fact that these original storylines were successful box office successes, and that Hollywood should invest more. So if you haven't seen One of Them Days, and if you're a fan of Ice Cube and
Yes.
Chris
Mm-hmm.
Tucker and Friday, watch
Okay.
what, because it's not even, the storyline isn't even a whole 24 hours. I think the storyline is maybe 8 hours, 9 hours, something like that. And the
Okay.
shenanigans is it's wild and crazy. And but it is worth watching. You are entertained that whole time.
The
So
whole time.
yeah, the whole
Nice.
time. Yeah. But
Sweet.
to answer the question of what are you looking forward to watching.
Mm-hmm.
So um Taraji P. Henson is in a movie called Straw by Tyler Perry.
Yep.
So as beautiful as Taraji is, some of her best acting is when she looks fucked up. And this is one of those movies. No lie, because she's beautiful. She's absolutely
Absolutely
beautiful.
beautiful.
But
Yes.
some of the best ones are when her makeup doesn't even exist. And Straw is one of those movies. The article I read about Straw basically two sides to the story. The Tyler Perry aspect of the movie got trashed. They talked about how
Mm.
it was very formulaic, very, very Tyler Perry esque, not really, there's nothing deep about it in terms of the storyline and so forth and so on. However, Taraji, on the other hand, absolutely positively elevates this movie. Like, based on everything I read about her performance, and I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list. I'm trying to see it when I'm not sleepy. And I may watch it
Mm-hmm.
sometime between now and the next time we do the show, which is not going to be next week. But they talk about the fact that her performance is outstanding. And every little snippet that I see of her, it is just that. Like, I literally have watched some of her promos and have been like, how has she not won an Academy Award yet? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
She doesn't have
expecting.
an academy?
I don't think so.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's on my list. Um, that's on my list. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. It's a good list to
Cool.
have.
What's on your list,
Yep.
Jazz?
Mine? Oh, I was watching something that's kind of like We kind of stay away from drama on the channel, but I was watching a little bit of the Diddy trial on YouTube.
Talk about it, please.
You want to talk about it? Okay. So I don't know whose channel it is. I can't remember. I'd have to like pull it up on YouTube, but I'll do it later. Or I'll like message you ladies later. But it's like I liked it because it's like each episode, it's like they gave you enough to want to watch the whole video.
Okay.
And then it was like each day they would bring out somebody new. So like the one day it was like there was like Justin Bieber. The one day there was Will Smith. The one day there was somebody else. And
What do you mean they bring out somebody new? What are you saying? What exactly?
like
People
they
that are
were on
testifying.
like testifying. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so
Yeah.
wait. So speaking of that, here's why I'm like, let's talk about it. The girl who I forget what name she was using, but the girl who was the girlfriend while he was seeing young something or another.
Young Miami.
Thank you, Young Miami.
There we go.
When she called him a cuck.
Woo! Right?
I was so done. Ooh, I was done. I was like, I don't think the world is ready to talk about that term at the kitchen table. But baby, she was like, I was trying to understand, trying to figure out why, and I came across this word. I'm like, and wait a minute, that was in testimony, which means we got that in a transcript. That is forever going to be. Look, we
that
already
is forever, ever.
Forever.
Like, we already suspected, but baby, she just confirmed.
Put all his business on blast.
Okay,
Right. And they
go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
And they did like a parody. I felt so bad because I really enjoyed watching Family Matters growing up. Like, you guys all know the show. We all know the show, chat. And if you don't, you're too young to be here. But we still love you. Okay. So they did like a parody of like Family Matters. And I was just like, Lord have mercy. Like, it was. And they had everybody who we just mentioned, like everybody, like all the big main people. And I was just like, you guys will have to look it up. Or like I said, I'll have to send it to you later. But yeah.
Okay, so Charles White just mentioned about R. Kelly being in a hospital. So I didn't get to read the article about R. Kelly, but I saw just enough to see that his attorney is accusing prison guards of basically trying to kill him with medication. I didn't see all of it, but
damn.
Yeah. I didn't know about that. I know that they said they paused the trial, apparently. That was like the latest news. But
for R. Kelly? Robert?
Oh no, for Diddy.
So going back
for shitty Diddy.
For going back to Diddy, they did talk about they released that one juror, right? I forget what the problem was with the juror, but yeah. Here's the thing. I think it's just my personal opinion. I'm not speaking on behalf of EXXXOTICA or whatever. But
the opinion about to be expressed by Casey Carter is not
her
same.
Own.
They're mine.
Yeah, it's her own.
All mine. All mine.
She owning it.
I'm owning it. But Harvey Weinstein, once they got that MFR, all bets were off. Everybody.
That's right.
Everybody.
Did we? I don't know why I feel like we were talking about, but maybe we didn't talk about it. Okay, so I just want to bring this up real quick too. So apparently he wanted to take the freak offs into outer space where he couldn't be touched. Did we talk about that?
No.
Okay. He did. He was like talking to like some space people, like
SpaceX,
aerospace
probably.
people.
SpaceX.
Yeah.
And so let me say this. This is what happens when
For
you have
real.
too much goddamn money. So and let me reference Epstein, because you know
Making it
Epstein
rain.
had the island,
Right.
too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have an island that they were flying people out to. What was that movie? Blink Twice. Yeah,
I think so.
there
Yeah.
was a whole lot of blink twice.
Blink going on.
Yeah.
Now we know why people blink all the time.
Yeah. So, before Casey goes down that rabbit hole, because I'm ready to go. We
It's
are
so hard to say goodbye.
we are at
Yeah,
that
we're not gonna
time.
go down the rabbit hole. Diddy,
Not
you're not
today.
gonna get your freak offs in space. Like,
And not on
it's
boob
not
tube either.
happening. Not on boob tube either. Yeah.
Pass.
Your freak off is a freak hell no.
As
And that
Casey
came from
said,
Kari. From third person.
Pass. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll pass. We'll pass. But in the meantime, between time, it is now time for us to prepare for our departure. Please place
Let's do
your
it.
trays in an upright position. Fasten your seatbelts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank
Put
you.
your mask on before you
I'm
put it
sorry.
on other people.
Thank you, Charles. Yes, Miss Rita Daniels' birthday is the 22nd?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Rita. We love
Love
Rita.
me some Rita Daniels. Woo.
And don't
Yeah.
forget, June is also men's mental health awareness month. Yeah, there you go.
Also,
It's all
tomorrow
Pride
is Juneteenth.
Tomorrow's June.
Juneteenth.
Listen, there's a lot of
Yeah.
lot of things that happen in the month of June aside from my birthday.
Oh, and Pride.
And because
Let's show love for our Pride.
not Friday.
June
This
is
past
Pride
Sunday
Month.
was also Father's Day. So shout out to
Yep.
all the
The
all the
dads.
dads.
All the dads.
All the
Yeah. The biologicals and the ones that step up.
and those who don't have an appendage that hangs between their legs.
Same girl. Yeah, baby.
Anyway.
Well, with that being said, make sure you keep it locked right here on EXXXOTICA.tv, where you can enjoy more of us Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for next week. We just came back from a brief hiatus just to go back on a hiatus because we will be, where will we be, Casey? We will be in Miami, Florida next week, June 27th to the 29th for Exotica. Ladies Free Friday. Sign up for your tickets at EXXXOTICAexpo.com. And if you're interested in becoming a vendor or a exhibitor, you can contact Exotica Expo and receive a package with information on how you can sell your services and products. October 24th to the 26th in Edison, New Jersey, and December 5th to the 7th in my backyard, Washington, D.C. Make sure you go to exoticaexpo.com to get your tickets now.
Okay, hold on. Next thing.
Next up, we have some pink boxes that we would really enjoy if you followed us on social media. And
I'm sorry, you lingered too long on pink boxes we'd really enjoy.
We like having our pink boxes fondled, followed.
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 Subscribe.
Yeah.
Like.
Kari is being bad today.
Yes,
Kari
like
is in timeout.
We like them liked.
Yes, we do. We do love when you guys reach out to us and send us videos like Jason does on Twitter and respond to our posts, like Zany and Whitney and a lot of the other people that are in here, Charles White, To Come Kari, Christopher Gagliardi, and
Thank you so
Alex
much.
Smiles, and the rest of the crew that you guys
Woo,
came in. We would like to say
woo.
thank you so much for joining us. If you are new here tonight, we hope that you will subscribe to the channel
And share
and
it.
join us for a
Do it.
future episode. Episode.
Epper. We do episodes. We don't do
We do
episodes.
episode.
We do episodes. We are that level special.
Especially when you fondle our pink boxes. But if you're a returning viewer,
Do
we
it.
thank you as well.
Just do
And
We're
it.
gonna need this week off,
I
okay?
I think it's time for Casey to pull the plug. Somebody turn off the
Do
mic.
it.
All right, y'all. We'll see you in July.
We'll see y'all next month. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.